Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Montville Township and VFW Post 5481 Veterans Day Ceremony 2021. My name is Ken Hansel, Commander of Montville's VFW Memorial Post 5481. We'd like to welcome all present and those participating virtually. We will now have the presentation of the colors. Post 5481 Color Guard members will do the honors, led by our post chaplain and guard captain, Dominic DeAndrea. All of the Color Guard members are my comrades from the Vietnam War. Detail, 10, hook! Order. Hunt. Remain standing as post chaplain Dominic DeAndrea shares a prayer with us. Detail, uncover.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Today, our theme is to honor our proven patriots. First, let's ask, what is a patriot? Definition of a patriot, according to Merriam-Webster, is one who loves and supports their country. President Harry Truman had a much different view. He said, America was not built on fear. America was built on courage, on imagination, and unbeatable determination to do the job at hand. For me, every veteran present today is a proven patriot. You see, a proven patriot is one who stepped forward while others stayed back. We answered the call to serve our country and placed ourselves in harm's way. We made many sacrifices in the name of freedom. I'll fly over. In the name of freedom and in support of our nation's ideals, a proven patriot was given a critical job to do under the most difficult of circumstances and refused to fail. Each and every day was a struggle, but we remained steadfast. Side by side, we stood with our brothers in arms, and together we got the job done. Brothers and sisters got the job done. Often we wondered if we'd return from the war, and we were devastated to learn that some of our friends did not. A grateful nation acknowledged and recognized our achievements and victories, and though we are thankful for the medals and ribbons bestowed upon us, the bonds, the sacrifices, and the scars created many years ago must never be forgotten. Ceremonies such as these are extremely important to our veterans, for they remind us that all of our efforts are acknowledged and appreciated. Please pray with me now for the proven patriots that are present and for those found only in your hearts. We pray that their souls rest in peace. Let us assure them that the sacrifices they made were not in vain. Please take a moment to add your own intentions. This we pray, amen.
Thank you. Remain standing, please. I will now introduce post members and World War II veterans, Jerry Genyon, Tom Jones. Also, I'd like to introduce a new member, we'll make him a member today, another World War II veteran from Towako, Henry Bixby. in the audience in the back. Jerry was an Army Staff Sergeant and served in the Central Pacific as a combat radio operator in support of both Army and the Marines. Tom served as a Navy medic in the Pacific and adjacent waters on the USS Ticonderoga. Tom and his shipmates withstood numerous kamikaze attacks. One was a direct hit on the Bridge Command Center, which killed the ship's captain. Tom is 95, and Jerry is 99 years young. They will now lead us. They will lead us in our national, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Present hugs to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order.
Nice job. Recording artist Alus will sing our national anthem. She attended Montville High School. As Alus does this honor, members of Coast Guard Auxiliary Flotilla 1001 out of Lincoln Park Airport will execute a flyover.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, please be seated. Some of today's ceremony is being taped by CBS television crew for a John Elliott broadcast at noon today. John has a connection to veterans. His father, Harriet Elliott, was a World War II vet with the Engineer Corps, served in many places, one of them at Schofield Air Base in Pearl Harbor. Some other guests with us today. There we go. So what the pilot was reading, that was close. We have some special guests today. Senator Pinaccio, State Senator, Chief Dispatcher on the squad for 40 years, First Aid Marlene Lepori, Fireman Joe Gritkowski and Carl Larson. We have former mayors and committee members. We have Art Daughtry here. We have Steve Moscone, Board of Ed Christine Fano, and Joe Daughtry. We also have Township Committee Mayor. We have Mayor Cooney, June Whitty, and Rich Conklin. I'm going to welcome all of our special guests here today. Okay, thank you. As a township resident for almost 50 years and a VFW member for 45 years, it is my honor to serve as commander of VF Post 5481 and to contribute to this event. Montville's post was chartered in 1970, 51 years ago. This special day was first observed in 1919 to commemorate the Armistice Agreement ending World War I, which was supposed the war to end all wars. President Dwight D. Eisenhower brought in the meeting in 1954 when he officially named this day Veterans Day instead of Armistice Day. And that will recognize all who served and defended democracy. All veterans share something in common that is very important, a love for this great country. Over 22 million Americans are alive today who have served in our country. These men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their lives, and not for recognition or any fame or even the honor that we give them today. They served to protect our country and to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans, let us salute one more time. Nice wingtip salute there. Well done. As we honor our veterans, let us salute those who are currently serving on active duty. This year commemorates the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. For the first time in nearly 100 years, the public was be able to walk on the normally cordoned off plaza in Washington, D.C. and place flowers on the tomb. I will now ask Township Mayor Frank Cooney to say a few words.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor to speak here as mayor of this wonderful community. Today's theme is Veterans Are Proven Patriots. The definition of a patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it. I want to stress the word vigorous in that definition. To support something vigorously means to put forth a strenuous effort with great exertion. As we pass by the men and women with the honorable title of veteran, we take the time to feel humbled by their strenuous efforts. Do we take a moment to reflect on the rigorous dedication of our country? Do we appreciate the sacrifices they so freely gave for our countless citizens who they never met? This is why it is important for us to gather as a community for these significant holidays to support our VFW Post members as well as veterans throughout the United States. To hear their long stories, stand along them and support, to take the time from our daily routines to truly thank them for defending us in times of battle, for the constant reminder of the sacrifice of our flag and demonstrating the importance of the brotherhood. On behalf of myself and the entire Township Committee, I want to thank Commander Hansel and the members of the VFW Post 5481 for their hard work on planning these events and for continuing to share their time with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Cooney. Next on our agenda, we will have our New Jersey State Senator, Joe Pinaccio. Say a few words. Joe?
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everybody, and thank you for letting me share a few words on this very solemn occasion. Over 20 years ago, working with the Freeholder Board, I initiated the program of recognizing all our past heroes who served in the military for Morris County with the Morris County Distinguished Service Medal. At that time, the last conflict that we recognized was Desert Storm. And I remember thinking to myself, I hope we don't have to add to that list. Unfortunately, because of the nature of some men and the evil that lives in their hearts, wars will continue. Our country will continue to pay in blood and treasure for the defense of freedom. Paraphrasing John Kennedy, that's what we do. The pronoun we is very weak in this instance because the vast majority of Americans don't serve, don't fight, and they don't die. But we applaud ourselves for those efforts when young men and women do. Who are they? Mostly young men and women who have just begun the journey of life. Sons and daughters, future parents and grandparents that we will never know. Perhaps doctors and scientists that would have cured diseases. Future sports stars, Silicon Valley wizards, ordinary men and women, our collective children. These thoughts are fitting because they reflect the reason why we gather here today. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the end of the war to end all wars. And like our county's recognition of soldiers and their continued wars, more wars will come. The greatest slaughter of life in America was the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 dead and wounded soldiers on both sides. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address on November 19, 1863, chose not to chastise the rebels or applaud the Union, but rather to have us all look introspectively at ourselves, at our country. Who are we? Where did we come from? Why does this country exist? Lincoln reminded all of us about our founding principles and how we must always rededicate ourselves to those principles. Lincoln was very specific in saying neither his words nor his speech could add or detract from the efforts of those soldiers and what they did on that battlefield. As we gather here today, let us recommit ourselves to our founding principles. We live in times where those words are not just words that are meant as a matter of course, not just words to be said on days like today. I strongly believe our freedoms are being challenged. Our fabric of democracy is being stripped, one thread at a time. This is happening under the guise of a public pandemic, a health emergency. There will be other reasons, other emergencies to do the same. One day soon, we may wake up and say, this is not the country that I was born into. As we mark this special day, we too should rededicate ourselves. Under no circumstances should we believe that it is only the soldier whose duty it is to protect our rights, our freedoms. That challenge belongs to all of us. It is all of us that was gifted with those innate freedoms. Therefore, it should be all of us that have the responsibility to guard and to protect them. Abe Lincoln did not argue the constitutional merits of Gettysburg. Just 7 years ago, opening remarks brought us back to our founding principles, the Declaration of Independence. He often cited the Declaration rather than the Constitution because that initial document expressed all that we are and could be based on our moral principles and the rights given to us by our Creator. Our Constitution was a political document where some of those God-given rights were compromised for the sake of political acceptance. Our Declaration of Independence, unlike our Constitution, is free from those political blemishes. The Constitution was a document derived from our logic, our thoughts, the law, our brains. The Declaration was an inspiration from the human soul. Let us return to those founding principles, that Declaration. Let us end by saying that once again we recognize that it is God who gives us our rights, not government. Whatever power government thinks it has is derived from we, the people. Government is there to serve us, not for us to serve it. God has bestowed so many blessings on this country, chief among them, the gift of our soldiers. As we recognize all his blessings, we also recognize that it is God who gave us these rights and freedoms, and only God who can take them away. Our soldiers, past, present, and future, will make sure of that. God bless you all. God bless our soldiers, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Pinaccio. And we have a number of members who have received that distinguished medal from the county. Our third speaker today is George Nader. Recently, a few of us heard him tell his story, and we invited him to share it and his patriotic message. Welcome, George.
Good morning, everybody. Commander, thank you for inviting me. Senator, thank you. I am a Lebanese immigrant, born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. And at the tender age of 14 and 15, I got involved in the Lebanese Civil War. I've seen things that no teenager should see, and I've done things that no teenager should do. But that's not why I'm here. In my teenage years, I fell in love with the idea of America without even setting foot in America, the America that Senator Patriot just spoke of. So I became obsessed of coming to America. And the Lebanese war was persecution of the Christians, et cetera, et cetera. And President Reagan was president at the time, and he couldn't let this go by. So on April 18, 1983, at the age of 19, I finally got to get to the US Embassy and begin to realize my dream to get my student visa and come to the US. I got accepted at the University of Michigan. At 11 o'clock in the morning, I head to the embassy in Beirut. I was maybe 10 minutes late. The way it worked at the time, because of high security, they only allowed a certain number of people in. They close the door behind you and they process. So I was late. Fortunately, I was late, and I was my back was to the outside wall. That was the day when a terrorist from Hezbollah decided to drive a truck under the embassy and blow up the embassy. In that explosion, 47 people died and 3 people survived, and I was one of the survivors of the explosion. And 14 of those people are 2 Marines, 14 CIA officers. And when you survive such thing, you have major struggles, because you ask yourself, what is this? Why am I surviving this while 47 people died? And I stand here before you today as a testimony, living testimony of the sacrifices of the veterans of this country, because shortly thereafter, the single biggest loss for US Armed Forces since Hiroshima was 245 Marines dying in one day in Beirut, following another explosion by the terrorist. So the idea of the sacrifice that you guys do, you're looking at a man who realized his dream, who came to this country as a result of your sacrifice, who had so much offered to him because of your sacrifice. I was able to get to college. I was able to meet my wife. I have 5 beautiful kids. One of them graduated from Montville High School. I have a business. I lived the American dream because of your sacrifice. And people say, why would America be involved overseas for these things? I humbly stand before you because of people like us who just are in love with the idea of America. First generation, second generation, fifth generation, we all came from a place that was looking for a better life. And the sacrifice of the armed forces is the reason we're able to be here. So I want to give back. I do everything I can to give back. I have a dream that one day I am going to be an ambassador of this country, a US ambassador, in the same embassy in Beirut that I got blown up in. All I want to do for the rest of my life is just give back for the opportunity that this country has given me. So for anybody who asks, what is the sacrifice? The sacrifice is my family, my lineage, my kids, their grandkids, the businesses that I have, and there are millions of people like me who owe that to you. So thank you for the invitation.
Quite a story. Absolutely quite a story. Speaks well. We now recognize, now we'll have our good friend, okay, which we do recognize, and our township resident, Nick Sisko. He's always here for us. He will sing America the Beautiful.
Please, everybody join in. Oh, beautiful, o'er spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
We will now recognize all branches of service. Each service group will be represented by a service member dressed in his uniform, and I will introduce each of them. As we play each service song, I ask all in the audience members associated with that branch of service to stand and salute. I'll go through each branch. First one will be Army, Sergeant Dominic DeAndrea. He served twice, 1965, 68, and again during the early 80s. In 1967, Dom served in Vietnam as a special intelligence attached to the 2nd Field Force. During his reserve duty, he was with the 113th Infantry, 50th Armored Division. All Army personnel, please stand. I'm one of them, and salute. Next, Navy. We have Bosun's Mate, 3rd Class, Jim Bout. He served in the Western Pacific off the waters of Vietnam on the USS Tortuga LSD-26. Jim was an assault boat coxswain and piloted Army and Marines ashore. Jim served a little before my time, but what he did was my last leg of transportation when I arrived in country. Thanks a lot. Next, we will have the Coast Guard with us today. We have Steve Shepis, commander of Flotilla 1001 Auxiliary. Today he uses his own plane, or a plane, to patrol the waters in the area. We also have, Fred Simmons. Thank you, Fred. Fred is a paratrooper. In fact, he got his wings presented to him by General Westmoreland. So we've got quite a history here, guys. Next, we have Air Force. Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Jones served 4 years from 1967 to 1971. Jeff's Vietnam service was spent at Cam Ranh Bay Military Command, Vietnam in 1969, as a fuel specialist. Jeff's 12-hour work shifts were spent servicing C-130s, C-140 cargo planes, fighter jets, including F-14s, F-101s, and F-104s. All Air Force personnel, please stand. Last but not least in our salute are the Marines. Craig Whitty joined the Marines in 1966 and proudly served in fire detection control in a 105 artillery battery. Corporal Whitty was assigned to Camp Pendleton, California. All Marine personnel, please stand.
We will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First we fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the title of United States of free.
Well, thank you in the audience for assisting in this. So that's the branches of the service, well recognized today, and all the uniforms fit, you notice. Nick Sisko will now sing his rendition of this patriotic song, God Bless the USA, and God bless the USA.
If tomorrow all the things God I worked for all my life, if tomorrow all the things God I worked for all my life, if I had to start just thank my lucky stars to be lived in this place where the flag still and you can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the friend of mine who gave that right to me. I gladly stand up next to you and defend her here today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there's a flag that stands for freedom, and you can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. I gladly stand up next to you and defend her here today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA.
While Veterans Day is primarily a tribute to Americans living veterans and should be observed more as a celebration than a somber remembrance, it is always appropriate to include a moment of respect for those who gave their lives for their country. We will now place 3 wreaths to remember all veterans who have passed away. We've lost quite a few of our vets in the last couple of years. COVID took a few. So this always brings a moment of reflection at this time. Representatives from the police department, fire departments, and first aid squad will participate. First, we'll have fire department members Carl Larson, and let me get the name right here, Joe Kretkowski. Representing the firemen will present the first wreath. Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we'll have representatives from our Montville Township Police Department present the second wreath. And when I read their names, I'll tell you who they are. Jerome Negrasso and Nice. Thank you. Order. Order. Thank you. We will next have representative from the First Aid Squad, Marlene Lepore, present the wreath along with Mayor Frank Cooney. Without these three groups, fire department, first aid, police. Helps make us all safe and comfortable today. Present. On. Order. On. Thank you very much. We will now have the color guard, Captain Dominic DeAndrea, and guard rifleman and post junior vice commander Jeff Jones, perform the rifle salute, which will be followed by taps. Will all military personnel please stand at attention and salute at my command? All civilians, please stand, remove headgear, place your hands over your hearts. Present. Humps. Order. Hump. Please remain standing. Rabbi Mark Finkel from the Pine Brook Jewish Center will now say the benediction. Uncover.
As I've traditionally done, let me first offer a prayer for our departing veterans. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure. The souls of our beloved who we remember this day who have gone to their eternal home. Merciful, and we ask that our loved ones find perfect peace in your tender embrace, their memory enduring as inspiration for commitment to their ideals and integrity in our lives. May their souls thus be bound up in the bonds of the living, in the bonds of everlasting life. May they rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. El malei rachamim, shochen b'mromim, hamtzeh menucha nechonata kavei hashchina, b'malot kadoshim v'tohorim gazor rakia mazirim, v'nishmot kol ela she'izkarnu hayom livracha shalchu li'olamam. Began Eden tehem menuchatam, Anabal rachamim hastirem b'seitza knafecha li'olamim. Utzra v'tzrachayim edishmotehem, Adonai unachalatam. V'yanuchu b'shalom al mishkavotehem, v'nomar Amen. To our veterans here and other places that we see here on earth. Dear God, source of love, please let every veteran, our nation's armed forces, feel truly and appropriately honored by the attention and appreciation of their fellow citizens. Let no one feel forgotten or neglected. Let every woman and man, young and old, feel the deep and enduring gratitude of our nation and its inhabitants. Dear God, source of understanding, you know that it can be difficult for a person who has returned from battle or stressful military service to reintegrate into normal everyday life. You know that veterans can feel isolated and alone, even in the midst of their friends and families, because there are few around who understand their experience. So I ask you to place in the path of our veterans those who do not understand, that they may feel less alone. Remind them often that while their fellow human beings may never fully comprehend, you see, you know, and you identify with them in everything. Dear God, source of healing, you know how deep a warrior's wounds go. You know the loss that many of our veterans in body and soul. You know the memories that haunt them and the scars that many of them continue to carry. Please bring healing to those veterans who still hurt. Please grant patience and wisdom to those around them who cannot understand but can sometimes help the healing process. Please apply both natural and supernatural medicine to their wounds. And dear God, source of bounty and blessing, please turn your gaze to those men and women who in their military service have sacrificed time, comfort, strength, ambition, health, and prosperity for the peace and safety of family and friends and others they've never even known. Please reward them 100-fold for all their sacrifice and service. Bless them far beyond all their expectations. Reward them richly for all they have given. May God bless our deployed troops. May God bless our wounded warriors. May God bless our first responders. And may God bless the United States of America. Amen.
Our color guard team will now retire the colors. Okay. Present. Huh. Please be seated. I want to thank all participants, post members, and others who helped in today's ceremony. I want to thank John Elliott, CBS News, and Al. Can't do it without Al, right? And a lot of us will be looking at noontime at the TV. I appreciate everyone's attention and attendance, those who are here and also those that are online. Until next time, stay healthy and stay safe. Before you leave, we do have cider, coffee, donuts. We also have water. And also remember, the Red Barn restaurant in town is providing a free meal to veterans. They do quite a job there. And in the same strip mall, Diane's Dairy will give you a nice free small ice cream to all vets. We can't ask for more than that, can we? Spend a year in a tent in the jungle and I can get a free meal. Thank you very much.